So the whole Upanishadic truth is about the oneness. But it is not a philosophy. If it is practiced in its true sense, then it relieves us of all individual problems and also societal problems, because it is the society is made of individuals. It is our constricted, selfish orientation which creates all the social disorder also. So let us see how we proceed with this. I tell you again and again that it is not intellectual, it is not philosophy. When we identify with this philosophy, automatically it brings in us a great change. And when the approach is through the Upanishads, the whole change takes place through our understanding, through our buddhi. It is not just some limited practice or limited singing or doing some sankirtana with devotional sankirtana. The difference is that when the change comes through the understanding from the buddhi, then it becomes permanent. Otherwise, it will depend on our state of mind, state of being. It will go on changing. We will lose, we will come back, and again we will lose, like that. But when we understand the reality of our identity, the falsity of the Raga-Dvesha, then the whole life automatically undergoes a change. So I repeatedly say that don't take it as a separated philosophy. It's an understanding of life, understanding of the world, and understanding of the truth. Namo namaste gurave mahatmane vimukta sangaya saduttamaya nityadvayanandarasasvarupine bhumne sada paradayam budhamne Namaste, namaste, vibho vishwamurte. Namaste, namaste, chidanandamurte. Namaste, namaste, tapoyogagamya. Namaste, namaste, shrutijnanagamya. Swarajya samrajya vibhutiresha bhavat kripa shri mahima prasadat prapta maya shri gurave mahatmani namo namastestu punarnamostu Namo namastestu punarnamostu Namo namastestu punarnamostu Namastasmai sadaikasmai kasmai chinmahase namaha Yadetad vishvarupena rajate guru rajate Yadetad vishvarupena rajate guru rajate Hari. We will chant on the first the Shanti mantra. Om Bhadram Karnebhiः Shrunuyama Devaः
Om Bhadram Karnebhiः Shrunuyama Devaः
Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraः
Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraः
Sthirairangaistuštuvamsastanubhih
Sthirairangaistuštuvamsastanubhih
Vyashema devahitam yadayuh
Vyashema devahitam yadayuh
Swasti na indro vruddhashravah
Swasti na indro vruddhashravah
Swasti na pusha vishvavedah
Swasti nः पूषा विश्ववेदाः
Swasti nastakshyo arishtanemih
Swasti नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः
Swasti no brihaspatirdadhatu
Swasti no बृहस्पतिर्दधातु
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
First we will chant the slok number 7, 8th, 9th and 10th, which we partly did last time, last satsang also. 8th, 9th and 10th of Kaivalya Upanishad. Sabrahma Sashivaha
Sabrahma Sashivaha
Sendra Soksharaha
Sendra Soksharaha
Paramaswarat
Paramaswarat
Saeva Vishnu Sapranaha
Saeva Vishnu Sapranaha
Sakalognih Sachandramaha
Sakalognih Sachandramaha
Sakalognih Sachandramaha
Sakalognih Sachandramaha
Saeva Sarvam Yadbhutam
Saeva Sarvam Yadbhutam
Yaccha Bhavyam Sanatanam
Yaccha Bhavyam Sanatanam
Jnatva tam mrityumatyeti
Jnatva tam mrityumatyeti
Nanyah pantha vimuktaye
Nanyah pantha vimuktaye
Sarvabhutasthamatmanam
Sarvabhutasthamatmanam
Sarvabhutani chatmani
Sarvabhutani chatmani
Samyak Sampashyan Brahma Paramam
Sampashyan Brahma Paramam
Yati Nanyena Hetuna.
Yati Nanyena Hetuna.
As I said, that these are all very common shlokas, similar shlokas everywhere in Bhagavad Gita. The other day I pointed out 6.29 to 6.32. Sarvabhutasthamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadiva dukkham sa yogi paramomata. Why particularly these two, 29 and 32 of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita I am quoting? Because one is doing with our external perception, external world, not perception is all internal only. And another is doing out with our internal world. That in both the cases we have to transcend the differential notion. We have to go to the oneness from the multiplicity. The purpose is only that. Now, in the first of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Bhutastham Atmanam Sarva Bhutani Cha Atmani. This is same as here also. That one who sees one who sees his own identity in everything, every creation, and every creation in his own identity, both way. What happens? Ikshate yoga yukta atma sarvatra samadarshana. The person who has become yoga yukta, yoga I have explained so many times, whose individual, egoistic, segregated, fragmented identity is dissolved in the universal consciousness. That is called the yoga yukta. So for him, naturally, all these differences are only written in the consciousness, as I said. It's all consciousness alone. So that is the meaning of Samadarshana in Bhagavad Gita. It is not just keeping our intelligence and mind cool in presence of differences. That is only the beginning stage. That in your behavioral life you have to be equal. We are not being equal, and it won't be possible unless we have this vision that complete equality will not come. And equality doesn't mean that we will not be able to behave in the world. We are not going to eat the camera and walk on the air. We have to know where to walk, where to jump, where to swim, and what to eat and what not to eat. That means the differential vision in that sense is not going. But at the same time, we are understanding that just like as the film, as a cinema is only a play of light, it is a play in the consciousness. This will not be fully practicable as long as we don't have the Atma Sakshatkara. Whatever you do, either through meditation or through buddhi, analysis, vichara, we have to come to that realization. As such, it is very simple. When we say that what is there, we are saying there are three kinds of akasha. One is called bahya akasha. Bahya akasha means the external space. Akasha means space. Bahya means external, the external space. That means whatever we are perceiving with our sense organs. Now, if you see, then your body personality is also in the Bahyakasha. Your individuality as an existence in the whole universe is part of the Bahyakasha. Now there is another space which is called Chittakasha. Chitta means the mind. Chit means consciousness and Chitta means mind. That means in the Chit there is no vibration, no change, nothing. Chit is always same, eternal, unchanging. So when there is a thought or a concept or any forms, any ideas appearing, it is called Chitta. That we have already studied in great detail. Yogash Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That we should remember. That everything is Chitta Vritti. So, as I said that there is a Bahyakasha, external space, there is an internal space. Suppose now I am sitting in the hall, there are some people, and I know that some other people are there on the other side, the camera is in front. These are all what I am seeing outside. At the same time, in my Chittakasha is always appearing what I have to speak, how to make it clear, what am I going to clarify, what am I going to explain. How the explanation will be useful to the people so that they can relate it to themselves. All these thoughts are working in my mind. That is happening in the Chittakasha. Now, if we go a little deeper, mark my word. How do we go deeper? There is no depth anywhere. Deeper means within. We will understand that whatever we are seeing as the external world, what actually we are seeing is whatever is appearing in our mind. Until the world appears in the mind, we will not know the world. Just like when we are sleeping, we don't come to know the world. The moment we get up, the world, both Chittakasha and Bhashyakasha, they start working within. That whatever the external world we are interacting with, unless it appears in the mind, we will not know. It has to appear in the internal mind. Is it not so? Is it difficult to understand? It is very simple, scientifically also. But it has a great, great relevance to our living in the world, to our life. Why? Because we are understanding that actually what we are calling the Bhashyakasha, in our perception it is becoming a part of our Chittakasha. That is, whatever thoughts, emotions, analysis, they are all the Chittakasha part. But at the same time, whatever we are experiencing in the external world, are they not experienced inside? It is just like you draw the space. I can show a diagram another day. We can draw the space, and actually we understand that this external space is part of the internal space. That means both Bhashyakasha and Chittakasha are appearing in my mind, but one I am calling external and one I am calling internal. Whatever is external, the body, I am giving the name as external, and whatever is inside the body, we are giving the name of internal. Actually, both are inside, they are all appearing in the mind. So, when we understand this, if you don't understand, we have to think and reflect on it. When we understand this, then what happens is that we can understand that the whole world as we perceive is made of consciousness and consciousness alone. Consciousness, of course, is not an object that as we make with gold some ornaments. These examples are taken, but in reality it is not like that. It is all just appearing in the consciousness. There something is appearing as thought, something is appearing as gross object, something is appearing as very subtle concept, something is appearing as all Raga-Dvesha, Lobha, Moha, everything. Everything, their appearance in the consciousness. That is what these verses are saying. Now in yoga, as we have explained in Yoga Sutra or Patanjali Yoga Sutras, these are called, that I told you, Yogash Chitta Vritti Nirodha, then Vritti Sarup Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. That what is happening when there is no vritti, no thought, nothing? Actually the seer, the person, the identity, is seated in its real identity. Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. It is seated in its own Swarupa, real identity. Then when the Chitta Vritti comes, what happens? The moment Chitta Vritti comes, we get disturbed because we find the world is there, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to run after this, run after that, because we are considering them to be different from me. The whole world to be different from me. But what the sutra says is, Vritti Sarupyam Itaratra. When the mind has started thinking, we have started experiencing the world, it is all the same seer which is taking the form of the vritti. As just now I was explaining in a different manner, that everything is an appearance in consciousness. If you write God, it is just like air. If you write God, if you write a camera, if you write a dog, all are written with air. Like that, if you write external world, the world of mountains, sea and whatnot, they are all written in the consciousness alone. Those vrittis, they are actually the seer, that is the consciousness. The I is taking those forms, whatever we are experiencing. So, to understand this vritti sarupyam, I will henceforward use the word vritti sarupyam again and again. I cannot go back every time, and this I have already explained. Vritti sarupyam means this understanding that the whole world is made of Atma, that there is nothing other than the Atma, nothing other than Brahman, everything is consciousness, whichever way we feel like. But the fact will be that the differential notion will go from the mind. Why it doesn't go? Even if you understand very well, the differential notion will not go. Understand that it will not go until we are rid of Raga-Dvesha. That is the main culprit, that is the poison. That we are clinging to something as me, mine, I like, and we are hating something as not me, not mine, not what I like, I dislike. This is causing the main obstacle or hindrance to our making this knowledge our own. These things we have to understand very, very well. We have to do Vichara, understand, practice and all. There, everywhere you will find that our expectations, our desires, our likes and dislikes, they are not allowing us to expand to this level. So, this vritti sarupyam is the same as seeing Atma everywhere. And what is that? We are doing everything to realize one day the Atma or the God or Brahman. Now, he is available before us in every form of perception. Can we not accept it and then do vichara on that? Pratibodha viditam matam. That is why Kaivalya Upanishad is saying, Pratibodha viditam matam. Every experience, every perception, we are knowing the Brahman, the Atma, the truth. Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. When we discover that to be the Atma, that the whole world is just an appearance in Atma, then we attain the immortality. Why? All the gross things, the whole world, the variations, they are all getting born and dying. They are all changeful. The only changeless, or even saying changeless has no meaning, transcendental is what we refer to as I. And in that, all the experiences are taking place on that. Even when we are seeing the microphone, our focus is on the microphone. But if this microphone does not appear in the consciousness, will we know the microphone? We are knowing the microphone as written on the consciousness. And that in the consciousness, the grossness of the object which is written is also appearing. Something is gross, and if it is an idea, we call it subtle. All these things are written in the consciousness. Now this vritti sarupyam, or we call it swagata bheda, that is another word, very good word used in our shastras. Swagata bheda. Swagata bheda means the camera is black and made of metal, and this light is brilliant and made of cloth or whatever, or glass. Now these are all bheda drishti. But when we understand that what we are perceiving inside, whether it is a camera or a light or anything, they are all made of consciousness alone. They are all appearing in the consciousness. This is called swagata bheda. That means bheda we are seeing. Apparently with our indriyas we will only see bheda. Never expect that the Vedas will go and we will see that everything has become one. It will never happen. It will happen in the understanding. So the Bheda will be there, but it will be called Swagata Bheda. Swagata means in itself. So this Bhashyakasha and Chittakasha, actually when we understand that they are all written in the consciousness, then we understand the third Akasha, which is called Chidakasha. Chit Akasha, the conscious space, which is the ultimate reality, which is the Atma, which is Brahman. Chidakasha. Now in that Chidakasha, it is not space in the physical space. It is a conscious space we are saying because there is no limitation, nothing. It is not that there you find a space and it is conscious. No, it can only be known as our own self. It cannot be known as an object. Then it will not be the consciousness. It will not be the truth. It will not be Atma. It will not be Brahman. If you can see as separate something, I have seen, I have discovered the Chidakasha. You cannot discover like that. Then it is not Chidakasha. It is your Chit which has revealed the what you are calling. So that is an object before me. So the Chidakasha can only be known as me, as I, as the amness in us. It cannot be discovered outside. So what happens is that it's just like a telescope. Initially we see it, we think Chidakasha is Brahman or Atma, then Bhashyakasha is the world, and Chittakasha is the mind, intelligence, all that. But actually, first step is to telescope, is bring in the Bhashyakasha into Chittakasha and know it as a part of Chittakasha alone. And then both Bahyakasha, Chittakasha, together the Chittakasha, dissolve that in the Chidakasha, that there is nothing other than Chidakasha. What we are seeing as Chittakasha and Bahyakasha, they are only Swagata Bheda, they are only Vritti Sarupyam of the Atma alone. The Vrittis, they are all in the Atma and Atma alone. That is Chidakasha. Now, this understanding is very, 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 very important. Because as I said, after understanding it very clearly, without any doubt also, you will not be able to realize it because of our desires, our likes and dislikes, our clinging to what I like and hating what I dislike. So the whole sadhana becomes refinement of this likes and dislikes, Raga-Dvesha, desires and expectations. They are all same basically. So the sadhana boils down to that. So would you wait for your meditational success in discovering the self, having an Atma Sakshatkara, or try to, what you can do without that also, try to understand the truth and change your attitude towards life and try to remove all the constrictions, all the Raga-Dveshas, all the fragmentation of the mind and become more and more expansive. When we become more and more purer and expansive, automatically one day the truth will dawn in us. We don't have to struggle for that. This is the way of the Upanishads. Don't ever think that it is a philosophy or it is something just an intellectual understanding. Certainly buddhi is there, but with a colored buddhi it cannot be grasped. It has to be, the buddhi has to be made subtle and subtler and subtler and more purified. That is why it is said in Yoga Vasishta, Vichara Tikshnatam dhihi pashyati parampadam. See, they are clearly saying, it is not with the eyes, not with the senses that we are seeing. Dhihi pashyati parampadam. It is the understanding, the buddhi in us, which is giving us all the understanding. That is seeing the ultimate state, the ultimate truth. How? Vicharat tikshnatam. By constant reflecting like this, constantly analyzing this vichara, which may appear to be intellectual, but it has to be used as a tool to purify the buddhi, make the buddhi subtle, sharp and abstract. By that process, the dhihi pashyati parampadam. The buddhi becomes tikshna, sharp, subtle, pure, and then that buddhi is able to see the truth. Dirgha samsara rogasya vicharo hi mahushadam. This, we are constantly afflicted by the worldliness, the disease called worldliness, because we are always undergoing that Raga-Dvesha and corresponding suffering, corresponding smallness, selfishness, agitation, whatnot. That Dirgha samsara roga, the disease of worldliness, this is the only medicine. Dirgha samsara roga. Samsara dirgha rogasya, dirgha samsara rogasya, vicharo hi mahaushadam. It's a great medicine for that. Why? Because we have to use this vichara as a tool which will purify our mind. Now here I started from that Bhagavad Gita 6.29 is saying, Sarvabhutastham atmanam sarvabhutani cha atmani ikshate yoga yukta atma sarvatra samadarshana. This ikshana, ikshate, it means seeing with the buddhi, not with the indriyas, not with the senses. It is not pashyati, it is ikshate, but they will use pashyati also. Just now I said, dhihi pashyati parampadam. As if the buddhi is seeing, we can understand that the buddhi doesn't see, it is not a vision of the indriyas, it is the vision of the buddhi. So there is no confusion there. So here ikshate again, it emphasizes that it is a vision of the buddhi. Ikshana means the vision of the buddhi. But in the second one, that is 6.32, Atma upamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yo Arjuna. He says, what is this samatva yoga of Bhagavad Gita? It is not the behavioral initial samatva that Bhagavad Gita speaks of. It is the greatest possible aim in life. This samatva is finding the sama, which is the Atma, which is the consciousness, which is the Brahman. That to find it everywhere uniformly, in anything, any action, any non-action, everywhere the Atma and Atma alone. What happens? Sukham va yadiva dukkham. Because why they have suddenly taken sukham va yadiva dukkham? They have brought in that after seeing the world with a vision of the buddhi, you look into yourself, what is causing you the agitation, what is the problem with you? Your problem with you are suffering from dukkha and you are elation in sukha and your depression in dukkha. You have to bear the sukha and dukkha. The situational sukha dukkha will never go. When you lose your very close friend or anybody, it is not that you should clap at that time, because there is no dukkha. Dukkha will be dukkha, sukha will be sukha. If suppose some Swamiji has got very good disciples, all the inmates of the ashram are very pure, very good, will not Swamiji be happy? If everybody is criminal, will not Swamiji be unhappy? So the situational happiness, unhappiness will always be there. Sukha and dukkha will be there. But he will not get depressed in dukkha, he will not get elated in sukha. How? Because they are two just waves in his mind. Samam pashyati yo Arjuna sukham va yadiva dukkham. Sa yogi paramomata. That yogi is supreme. Who can see that the sukha is a sensation, sukha is not outside, whatever the situation. The feeling of sukha is within us, and that is only a wave, a kind of a wave in the mind or consciousness. Similarly, dukkha is also a wave in the consciousness. As I said that our focus is always on the, when the mic is in, the focus is on the microphone, so we miss the consciousness or Atma on which the microphone is appearing to be. Similarly, in sukha, we are missing the ocean, be focused on the sukha wave. Focused on the dukkha wave, again we are missing the ocean. Our vision should move from the waves to the ocean. In my universal, transcendental ocean, so many waves are coming. Some are of sukha, some are of dukkha. Both are mine. I am containing both. It doesn't matter. They all together make me see. I am the sea, I am the ocean. So, that yogi becomes supreme. How? Because he, in everything in life, he finds the same Atma. So, whether it is Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita or any other text, this is the substantial knowledge there which we have to actualize. Here, let us see what they said. The first one is this Sab-Brahma Sa-Shiva, I have said already. That what is that? Initially they took the example of Paramashiva, Uma Sahayam. Then they are saying that you need not be a worshipper of Shiva. You may worship Brahma, you may worship Shiva, you may worship Indra, you may worship the Aksharaha, that is unchanging absolute truth, or you may worship Vishnu. Know that everything is that and that alone. So never concentrate on what you are worshipping. It is all, even if it is your life forces, they are also appearing in that consciousness. If it is time, space, or the fire, or the energy, that is also appearing in that. Or the moon, Sachandrama. Saying that, they are coming to again further expanding our vision. Saeva sarvam yad bhutam yaccha bhavyam sanatanam. Saeva sarvam. Saha eva sarvam. Actually, sarvam means all. Actually, that all is not there. It is not that the consciousness is penetrating, that all are there, the building is there, the bricks are there, the fan is there, and the consciousness is penetrating them. It is all our material way of thinking. There is no object like that at all. Our whole thinking has to undergo a change. All that we are seeing is appearing in the consciousness. They are all apparential srishti. In Shastras we call it vivarta srishti. It is not a material creation. Just like in dream, you are seeing a new world where a new personality of you is moving around. What it is made of what? All the whole dream world is made of what? Is it not your mind? Is it not your consciousness in which the whole world has appeared? Suddenly it has appeared. There is no causality, no parinama srishti or material creation. All the materials there also, if you find a beautiful fragrant flower, you will get the fragrance of it, you will enjoy it. There also, if you touch somebody, you will feel the touch. Everything as it happens in the wakeful, in the dreamful world also, everything will happen, but having no matter, nothing. It is all happening in consciousness. That is why this dream example is repeatedly taken, because feeling wise it gives us the clue to this ultimate realization. That in dream we can feel everything we are feeling. Where is it coming from? And where is the causality there? You think of an aircraft appears. Like that they say that whenever Brahma thinks of anything, that appears as the whole. Brahma means the cosmic consciousness. Then it appears there. If he looks on that side, the whole side appears. He had 4 faces, they say, because the 4 sides had to appear. These are all figurative expressions. So in consciousness it is like that. So it is not the srishti, the creation we are thinking of, it is not a material creation, it is not a parinama srishti, but it is a vivarta srishti, apparential creation or apparent creation. The whole universe appears to be. What is the purpose in dealing with this kind of a philosophy? Our clinging will go, our sangha will go, our likes and dislikes will get moderated. More and more you do this vichara, you will find your mind is becoming lighter, lighter, lighter. You are no more having enmity towards your enemies, so-called enemies. You are not more clinging to your beloved ones as you used to do, but you are able to serve everybody in a much better, freer manner, without getting egoistic about it, without feeling any elation or depression about it. In dukkha, you will not be depressed. You will enjoy the dukkha. I repeatedly say in film, in reading storybook, are you not enjoying the dukkha? You shed tears, and in shedding tears you have the fulfillment there, enjoyment there. It is only the wrong sangha that prevents us from enjoying the dukkha which our life passes through. So, saeva sarvam, yad bhutam yaccha bhavyam. Not only sarvam, whatever had been and whatever will be, everything is He. This is so many shlokas like that. The whole Mandukya Upanishad is on this. Saeva sarvam, yad bhutam yaccha bhavyam. Whatever was, whatever is, whatever will be, everything is that and that alone. Sanatanam. Sanatanam. Sana means eternal. Sanatanam means everything, everywhere. The differential notion, the variety is only changeful, but the truth, the underlying substratum, the consciousness is Sanatana. It is eternal. That is why our dharma is called Sanatana Dharma. Dharma is not a mata. Mata means opinion or a so-called religious. Religion also means something more than what we believe to be. It is not any concept. Dharma means dharanat dharma ityahuhu dharmo dharayati prajaha. That dhru dhatu means what holds. So the dharma is actually holding all the creation, the entire creation. That is why it is called dharma. Dharma eva hato hanti, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. If we flout dharma, then dharma will kill us. And if we protect dharma, then dharma will protect us. What is this dharma then? This dharma means the law of sustenance. Dharma, who sustains, who holds everything, the substratum of everything. Dharmo dharayati praja. Dharma eva hatohanti dharmo rakshiti rakshitaha. If we follow this law of sustenance of life, law of sustenance of nature, the law of sustenance of the whole creation. If it is the fundamental harmony of nature, the law of sustenance of nature. So if we follow that, then nature will also sustain us. And if you flout it, then the nature also will destroy us. This is very, very true in everyday life. Now the concept of ecology and all have come. This is what we are saying was written thousands of years ago, prehistoric period, everything. Whatever questions have been dealt with, whatever concepts have been given, it is all thousands and thousands of years old. This is the real ecology. That if you follow the natural law, the natural harmony of nature, then everything will be sustained. You also will be sustained. Everything will be led to the auspicious goal. But if you flout, because why will you flout the natural law? Because of your selfishness, because of your me, mindness, likes, dislikes, Raga-Dvesha. That makes us flout the natural law. If we flout that, out of greed, if we destroy nature, then nature will destroy us. The people who are throwing effluents in the river, in the atmosphere, just to increase their profit, they don't know that their children, their grandchildren will going to breathe the same air, the same pollution from water, air and whatnot, even from the vegetation. Everywhere this pollution is growing. But we are so constricted in our vision, we are only interested in our profit. We don't see that our own, for whose sake we are increasing the profit, for whom we are keeping the money, for our progeny and the children and grandchildren to enjoy the property. They will not have the health to enjoy. They will not be able to. These signs we are seeing everywhere in the world, but when will people become wise? We don't know that. Because the lobha, the greed is so much that even understanding also we are not able to hold. That is what I am saying, that this oneness will remain an abstract concept because we are not able to get rid of the ahankara, selfishness, raga-dvesha, and clinging to what I like, hating what I dislike. So he says that this is the Sanatanam. Why our dharma is called Sanatana? The dharma means our spirituality, the whole Shastras we are talking about. Why it is called Sanatana Dharma? In two senses. One is that it is talking only about what is eternal, the truth of our own real identity. That is Sanatana, that is eternal. We are immortal in essence. So it is only all other things, whatever it is discussing, it is all around that fundamental truth of eternal existence, eternal truth of our identity. That is why it is called Sanatana Dharma. And what is the other reason? That if you follow this truth, this Dharma, the Sanatana Dharma, then what will happen? It will make you also eternal. Not bodily eternal, but you will shift your identity from the small body related things to the eternal universal identity. So you will become Sanatana. So a Sanatana Dharma is Sanatana Dharma because it is eternal. And the second point is when we follow the Sanatana Dharma, it makes us eternal. And our whole Indian culture is based on that, on this Sanatana Dharma. If it is taken away, then the whole thing will collapse. There cannot be anything to be feeling blessed about, to feel dhanya about. The whole country is dhanya. People are not able to feel that blessedness because they have missed the Sanatana Dharma. Jnatva tam mrityumet atyeti. See the second line? Saeva sarvam yadbhutam yaccha bhavyam sanatanam. Jnatva tam, knowing that, realizing that, mrityum atyeti, one goes beyond death. Death means what? It is not just the bodily death. Everything around, whatever is changeful, something is dying and something is getting born. Cause is dying and the effect is getting born. So this changeful, worldly, material perception one will get over by knowing this truth. Nanyah pantha vimuktaye. There is no other way to get liberation from this entanglement of changefulness, birth and death. So many shlokas it will repeatedly say, Nanyah pantha vimuktaye, Nanyah pantha vidyate ayanaya. There is no other go. How can it be? Because it is the ajnana of our small identity sitting in our buddhi. The ignorance about our own reality. If that ignorance is not removed by jnana, by the knowledge of it, of the truth, how can we become liberated? We will be entangled with the same changeful birth and death and whatnot. To the extent we will be able to get ourselves loosened from that, extracting from this clinging, we will become that much of liberated. What does it mean? You may not have that liberation, but you will feel the liberation. How? The unaffectedness. As much as you become loose from that, your clinging becomes, as much as your clinging becomes less, you will feel unaffected in sukha, dukkha and whatnot, in everything. If your opinion is not taken, we get so much affected. What is there so great about our opinion? If our opinion is not accepted, the whole world is going to be destroyed. But we are holding on to our opinion so much that we are not able to have a friendship with others. What I say should be true. What I say should be followed. If that is not followed, we get annoyed. We get agitated. And what is the benefit? Have your agitation, have more and more clinging and have more agitation and suffer. That is what it is. So, vimuktaye they are saying, it may not be the ultimate liberation even, but at least from point to point, hour to hour, day to day, some liberation you will feel. That is the unaffectedness in the worldly situation. You have lost everything. Oh, theek hai. I have lost everything. If there is something to be done, I will again do. And what is the harm if I lose everything? I will again work for it. What happened to the Pandavas? They lost everything. And what kind of a Rajya, palace they made? It was better than Duryodhana's palace. How did they do it? Everybody can do anything. It is our non-acceptance of whatever has happened that creates so much of agitation. Can you walk back? Whatever has happened, it is already past. You cannot change it. You are not allowed to walk back in time. The time doesn't allow you. So other than accepting, what can you do? Without accepting whatever has happened, I am not saying that by accepting we will not look for the recovery. We will not look for the redemption, for the correction. But we are getting completely affected by whatever has happened. Why it is this? It is the non-readiness of our mind to accept whatever has happened, which is absolutely scientific, logical, that we have to accept, there is no other way. But the mind is not ready to accept. That is why the mind is suffering. The mind is agitated not because of the situation, because of the non-acceptance, the non-readiness of the mind to accept the situation we are suffering. The moment we are ready to accept everything, you become liberated. Whatever happens, theek hai. We will do again if it has to be done. If it is not to be done, we will sit on the roadside. Doesn't matter. That also is fine. So, these are not philosophy, these are not intellectual. Why am I saying I am getting these things from so many sides that, you are discussing PhD knowledge, it is all theoretical and all. Where is theory here? Everything is experiential. We don't speak anything theory. There are so many theories of Panchabhuta and this and that. We never discuss about that. Then he says, so this important point is the Sanatana, that our Sanatana Dharma is called Sanatana because it is based on and everything to do with the eternal truth. You will find in our cultural, traditional culture, the classical music, classical drama, classical, the languages even, everywhere the fulcrum is this eternal truth. Even our most of the literature also is based on that truth. Everywhere it is unity in diversity, unity in diversity. That is the mainstay of our cultural current in our country. And if we follow that Sanatana Dharma, that makes us Sanatana. How? By knowing that our identity, the real identity is eternal. We are immortal. That is why the rishis of the Upanishads, they say, Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha Aye Dhamani Divyani Tasthu. Not only the human beings, Aye Dhamani Divyani Tasthu. Those who are the devas and other beings, if they are there, we don't know. If they are there, they also listen because they are also suffering from ahankara, selfish, constricted identity. That you are all immortal. In essence, you are all immortal. Amritasya putraha. That means you are Amrita. You are all immortal. That is the song of immortality which is sounding everywhere in our literature. Sarva bhutastham atmanam sarva bhutani chatmani sampashyan brahma paramam yati nanyena hetuna. By seeing that, one attains the supreme Brahman. By no other means one can attain. See, the fact has to be known that we are thinking we are small, and the truth is that we are universal, we are transcendental. So what can take us from this constricted position to the transcendental position? Only the knowledge that we are not small, we are universal. That knowledge has to come. Through that, everything happens. Even if you do puja, if you do various practices, exercises, this, that, meditation and all, unless this delusion of our smallness, our fragmented, constricted identity goes, how can we have the liberation? Then it comes down to an example of sadhana. And it is actually, there are many shlokas that in the previous three, that is 8, 9, 10, there are many similar shlokas in all the Upanishads and particularly in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Beautiful shlokas are there. Some of them I have sung also in tune, Ravindranatha's tune mostly, and that almost, a little deviation is there. Now this example about sadhana also, it is very common. Let us first chant. Atmanamaranim krutva
Atmanamaranim krutva
Atmanamaranim krutva
Atmanamaranim krutva
Pranavam chottaranim
Pranavam chottaranim
Pranavam chottaranim
Pranavam chottaranim
Jnana nirmathanabhyasat
Jnana nirmathanabhyasat
Pasham dahati panditaha
Pasham dahati panditaha
Atmanamaranim krutva
Atmanamaranim krutva
Pranavam chottaranim
Pranavam chottaranim
Jnana nirmathanabhyasat
Jnana nirmathanabhyasat
Pasham dahati panditaha
Pasham dahati panditaha.
This example also is used in various other places, particularly in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 1.14. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 1.14. There the shloka is Swadeham Maranim Kritva Swadeham Maranim Kritva
Swadeham aranim kritva
Pranavam Chottaranim
Pranavam chottaranim
Dhyana Nirmathanabhyasat
Dhyana nirmathanabhyasat
Devam Pashyen Nigudhavat.
Devam pashyen nigudhavat.
Now here the main point is Arani, Adhararani and Uttararani. When we are saying only Arani, actually it is meaning the Adhararani. Adhara means low and Uttara means up, over. That is the top. They are taking the example because those were days when yaga yajnas were very common. So they would keep one wood block like this, another top wood will be rubbed over the base, and from that the fire has to come out. That fire was used for lighting the Homakunda and all. So the Agni, where lies the truth here? Where from did the fire come? It is just two pieces of wood. Unless the fire, the energy is there inside the wood, where from the fire would come? So they are trying to give the example to make us think that the fire is already there. You have only put your effort, proper effort, to make that fire feelable, visible, manifest. You have to manifest the fire. You don't have to create actually. The fire is already there. If the fire was not there, the fire would not come. That is the example. Like that, whatever we are talking about the self, the corresponding inspiration, energy, or the corresponding truth, the truth of the self, it is what we are. But just like the hidden fire in the wood, it is lying hidden in our being. We are not able to feel that fire. We are not able to have the sakshatkar of the Atma because our mind, body, mind, personality, everything is amalgamated so much with the worldly attraction, repulsion, enjoyment, indulgence and whatnot. The more we indulge in the worldly sensory sukha or sensory dukkha also will be there following that. So more we are involved in that, so much the real fire will be subdued. Suppose the wood is wet wood, it is already wet, then the yajna fire cannot be taken out of it. The wet wood have to be given in the already burning fire. And in the process what will happen? Lot of smoke will come out because the water content in the wood. That is what happens, that even you are not able to know the fire, you are not able to feel the fire, you are not able to experience the fire. So the Guru will help you to manifest the fire in you. Guru will not do anything. Guru will light something by that which will help you to experience your own fire, which is already there in you. Nothing is created there. But what happens is that if the worldly attachment and worldly involvement, indulgence is so much, that is the wetness of the wood, then there will be a lot of smoke coming out. That is what happens for the Shishyas also. When the Guru tries to inspire the Shishya with the truth, there will be a lot of refusal, lot of smoke coming out, lot of agitation also. Sometimes they will run away because of that. So what we have to do is to dry that wet wood. By what? By sadhana. And what are they saying? It is not only that, jnana nirmathanabhyasat. It is an abhyasa. That means it has to be continued. We have to do it repeatedly. And what is the abhyasa? Jnana nirmathana. We have to do it with knowledge. What nirmathana means, that churning. In buttermilk we are churning with the stirrer or with the stone or with a log, whatever. With that we are churning and the butter is coming out of the milk. Here this churning has to be done with the knowledge. See how clearly we have been telling repeatedly, the knowledge is not like the other knowledge that you have taken it, you have read the Upanishads and you have got the knowledge. It is not like that. Knowledge has to be used as a tool. Here are they not saying jnana nirmathana abhyasat. What is the abhyasa? To do the churning with the rod of knowledge. So that knowledge has to be used as a tool to bring out the butter. In this case, bring out the fire from our being. Jnana nirmathana abhyasat pasham dahati panditaha. The fire which will come, that will burn off the bondage, the pasham. Pasham means the tie, the knots that we have in our being. All that will be burnt off. Can you think of Bhagavad Gita there? What does knowledge do? Not coming to the mind. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram vidyate. There is nothing as purifier, as powerful purifier as knowledge. Pavitra. Pavitra doesn't mean pure. Pavitra means which purifies. The knowledge is used to purify our being. We don't have to create Atma, we don't have to create Brahman, we don't have to create consciousness. We cannot, there is no question of. We are already that. We are not able to know that, we are not able to feel it, because our mind, buddhi, which will feel, they are already so much sold off to the world of Raga-Dvesha. They have lost themselves. So we have to apply the knowledge, the churning rod of knowledge, to relieve our mind and buddhi. The changes are all will be in the mind and buddhi, never in the Atma at all. Never make such a mistake. Nothing happens to the Atma. By removing the cloud, the sun becomes visible. The sun is already there. Because of the cloud, we are not able to see. When we remove the cloud, then the sun becomes visible. So the Atma is already there. We have to remove the cover. We have the delusion, cover of delusion we have created by our own attraction, repulsion, greed and whatnot, attachment, sangha, everything. We are not able to see it. So a Pandita is a person who uses this churning rod of knowledge to light the fire which is hiding inside. Now what is the Uttararanim? I have not said about this. Atmanam aranim kritva. Consider our own being. Here Atma is not the soul. Here Atma means our own body, mind, personality. You can say buddhi and mind basically. Adhararanim kritva, that is, consider your being is lying below, and pranavam chottararanim. Make pranava, pranava means Omkara. Make that as the Uttararanim. Now, why then jnana nirmathana abhyasat? How do you relate that pranava and the jnana? This I have discussed in Mundaka Upanishad as well as Katha Upanishad. What is that? Omkara is, in one sense, Omkara is the symbol of Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya means this knowledge of our truth, knowledge of our Atma. That is called Brahma Vidya. Om represents Brahma Vidya. That is one point. That means all the knowledge, when we mention in one, we mean the Om as the representation of the entire Brahma Vidya. Not only the Vedas and the literature, but the realized Brahma Vidya is called Om. That is the superior knowledge in Mundaka Upanishad. Do you remember? Apara Vidya, Rigvedo, Yajurvedo, Samavedo, Atharva Vedaha, Shiksha Kalpa Vyakaranam, Niruktam, what is that? Jyotishamiti, Niruktam, whatever it is. All the 6 Vedangas and 4 Vedas, they are all Apara Vidya. Paravidya is Yaya Tadaksharam Adhigamyate. Yaya Tadaksharam Adhigamyate. By which the unchanging truth is realized. So that is represented by Omkara. So make that is one, that it represents the knowledge. Another is the Omkara is used for upasana, for worship. Worship means meditation also. How? This Omkara, the sound is such that it allows us to go from the sound to silence. From the wakeful world of multiple variety, infinite variegated world, to the substratum on which the variety is only appearing to be. That is why it is said Aum. Ah stands for the wakeful world as we see. Or you can say the Bahyakasha as we are saying. U stands for the dream world or the internal world. Dream world is same. What is the dream? The wakeful signals are no more there. Whatever that you have created within you. U is a partially closed. The world is there, but not the wakeful world, some other world. And is the deep sleep state to finally we go down to the silence. And that is the Turiya. The silence is the truth. That is called Turiya, means it transcends all the three states. All these are there in various Upanishads and all. But it can definitely be used for meditation, because if you focus on this, automatically the mind will get it withdrawn and finally go to the silence. I had told you earlier also that when we recorded the Song of the Soul, one famous singer, she prevailed upon us to record it. The purpose was that she used to feel that listening to those shlokas, she gets into meditation. So she used to tell us that, why don't you do it in a professional manner? I will take you to the studio. I will arrange everything. Please record it. It will be great benefit for the people. Because the basic science there is, from whatever state a sound is coming, if you ride on the sound, using it as vehicle, it will take you to the source from where the sound has come up. Provided you don't have any resistance, you just simply relax and you surrender yourself to the sound. So if you produce a sound from the meditational or true state of being, then that sound, anybody who can completely surrender to the sound, just in a relaxed manner listen to the sound, it will take him to that state. So from the silence as the sound is coming out, riding the sound, a person can go to that state. So what happened is that once it was recorded, many reports were, but we generally didn't speak about all these things. But one thing I wanted to tell, that one doctor, one psychiatrist or psychologist, I don't know, in Calcutta, she wrote to us that please send me a few, because the patients I have not been able to cure, I have just asked them to listen to this and they have got cured. So I want to experiment this on many other patients also. Then she went on, by those days it was 1990s. So CDs, initially it was cassette recorders, then it became CDs. Now we were sending CDs, she was getting in 100, first tens, then 100, like that. And she used to write so profusely about it that the great benefit I have got from it in curing patients. And by treating patients, I have also become a patient. So I always keep the Song of the Soul running behind me, and it gives me a lot of solace. Then finally, it was available in the internet, and no more CD. We told that you can duplicate any, and you can use it. So I think she is still there or not, I don't know. Whether she is using, I don't know. But it was a great. There are other many stories also, the animals getting peaceful and all. So what I want to say is the sound, the power of the sound we have to understand. If you can fully surrender to the sound, it can take you to absolute silence, or the source from where the sound is coming. So while practicing the Omkara also as a sound, we should remember the goal of that practice. The goal should not be forgotten. It is not just to get into peace, but the real Omkara is the Brahma Vidya. We want to reach the soul, our real identity, through whatever we do. In Kathopanishad, after Yamaraja was pleased and he understood that Nachiketa is a great seeker, it's not an ordinary person. Then he said the first instruction, Sarve Veda Yat Padama Mananti Tapamsi Sarvani Cha Yad Vadanti Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti Tatte Padam Sangrahena Bravimi Om Ityetad. He says, Sarve Veda Yat Padam Amananti. All the four Vedas, they are speaking about one final goal. What is that? Tapamsi Sarvani Jajat Badanti. They have spoken about so many kinds of austerities, standing on one leg, sitting with 5 fires and Panchagni and this and fasting, what not. But the goal is not there. All those Tapamsi Sarvani also, it is with the same goal in mind. What is that goal? Then, Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti. By wishing what or aiming what, people take to celibate's life. That is also not to remain a celibate, but to attain that goal. What is that goal? Tatte Padam Sangrahena Bravimi. I will tell you. It is not just telling, I will impart you. Sangrahena means not collecting from everywhere. Sangraha means I will give you the essence of it. Whatever is the essence. As they said that in Mundaka Upanishad, Yaya Tadaksharam Adhigamyate, by which we can attain the Akshara, unchanging reality. So, I will tell you Sangrahena by the essence of it. What is that? Om iti etat. That is the Om. What is that Om? Here it is Om as it represents the Brahma Vidya, the ultimate truth. The truth of our universal, transcendental, not only one, it is transcendental identity. The truth of that is represented by Om, which is the past, the future, everything, the time, space, everything is enclosed by that Om. That is the knowledge they are talking about. It is not a knowledge which is outside and you will know it just by your intelligence. No. By the knowledge, what will happen? It is the knowledge of our own reality, of our own identity. So the knowledge will be absorbed when we will become the knowledge. That is why we always say it is being and becoming. It is not just knowing it. The knowing means here, realizing means here, being and becoming. When the knowledge is grasped fully, it is the knowledge about our own self. So the self and the knowledge, they will become one. That is the non-dual knowledge. This is what our Sanatana Dharma preaches. And it is an experimental fact. I repeat 1,000 times. The rishis have done this experiment and recorded the result of the experiment. It is not a theory. It is not a philosophy. The whole Upanishads are recorded experimental truth, experience, because the experiment is with our own self, it is not with the objects. So each person's life will be one experiment, and whatever they have discovered in that they have written, they have recorded there. And it is not only one rishi or two rishis, from era to era over thousands and thousands of years, everybody has confirmed that yes, I have also known this, I have also known this. Otherwise, it would not have lasted, it would not have stayed, we would not have got this literature at all. The whole Dharma is based on this eternal truth, and every sadhaka is supposed to become eternal by abhyasat, jnana nirmathana abhyasat. They have to become that. So if you say that I don't accept gravity, then you walk in the air and where there is no platform, you go and say that no, there is no gravity, I will walk in the air. What will happen? You will fall and die. From the hill you can walk off and fall and die. Like that, if you flout, you say that it is not the truth. If you flout, it is a result of experiment. It's a natural, it's a record of the truth, ultimate truth. If you disobey that, saying that it is not, it is useless and all what not, you don't follow it. You go from mrityuh sa mrityum apnoti yaiha naneva pashyati. Kathopanishad repeatedly says, mrityoh sa mrityum apnoti yaiha naneva pashyati. One who is given to this variety of the world doesn't see the unity behind the substratum, one transcendental substratum. They move from death to death. That is what is the result of deriding this, or to say that it is to deny, to what shall I say, to degrade it. This is the result. I don't know, all these things came to my mind automatically because of whatever is happening in the atmosphere, the people are saying and all. Naturally, I did not know that I am going to speak about this also. So this is what we know, and this is what we have done, and this is what we can do. We know only this and this and this, and for that we have dedicated our whole life, not 1 year or 2 years of education or 5 years of a degree. We have dedicated our whole life only for this, only on this, only practicing this. Okay. Om Bhadram Karni Bhishnuyama Devaha.
Om Bhadram Karne Bhishnuyama Devaha.
Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha.
Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha.
Stirairangaistuštuvamsastanubhihi.
Stirairangaistuštuvamsastanubhihi.
Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu.
Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu.
Swasti na indro vriddhashrabaha.
Swasti na indro vriddhashrabaha.
Swasti na pusha vishvavedaha.
Swasti na pusha vishvavedaha.
Swasti na starkshyo arishtanemihi.
Swasti nastarkshyo arishtanemihi.
Swasti no brihaspatir dadhatu.
Swasti no brihaspatir dadhatu.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Jai Guru.